Hello, everyone. The other day, I received a question mixed with some criticism from one of the viewers saying, Sibel, why are you picking on the left? Why you keep referring to the extreme left? Why you keep saying that you see lack of common sense mainly among those who are fanatical or extreme left? And what have they done to you? Or another point this person made had to do with my past, my background as a government whistleblower. I have been a public figure, a very public figure since 2002. That makes it over 18 years. And this person, maybe because he or she was not really familiar with my history, assumed that my history would make me standing up for the left, not necessarily the extreme left or the New World Order, neoliberal left, but left-leaning. First, I want to start with a disclaimer. The disclaimer being, I have never been registered with any parties. That includes libertarians. You know, I am not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I have always viewed this as a categorization or putting people in the box. I have really mixed philosophy view of the political view of the world, but I'm mainly a geopolitical kind of a person. I'm very interested in the general overall macro politics of the world, and these politics are so interconnected, you would be so surprised if you were paying attention. Yes, we have our own individual characteristic as nations, and the most original, unique one, peerless one being here, the United States, but we have a lot in common. And as you can see, the assault, the coup by the New World Order, by the neoliberals, by one world government kind of an order, they are targeting the entire globe, the entire world. It's not picking on only one country as it used to be once upon a time, either the Middle East or Southeast Asia. It's no longer that, okay? So that's one disclaimer. The second one being, I am not into being, I don't know, I consider it in some ways like being a groupie. I go and say, people, I want you to go and vote for this person or that representative. If you go and check my record, it's all public. Since the early days of the internet, it's been public. When we didn't have YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, we used to have these blogs and blog spots. And you will see or find tons, unless Google is censoring it. I'm sure they are censoring some, but some of them will be there. So I'll invite you to go and check my record. I have never sponsored anyone. I have never told my viewers to go and vote for a certain person or that person or this person. I have never told people to go and buy crap coin or Bitcoin or that thing, saying this is what you should do. I don't do those kinds of things, okay? I consider it unethical, at least for my platform, because first of all, I don't have the right to do that, and people should make up their own mind by going and engaging in research and having informed decision-making process. I'm not in the business of telling you and the rest of the world, you should be doing this, I want you to do that, I want you to vote for that person. Anyhow, this particular session is gonna be about me providing a little bit of history, comparing my experience with the left, the liberals, the Democrats, or at least the majority of them, and the right, the Republicans and conservatives, and let's put libertarians somewhere in there as well. In the past 19 years, as a very public figure, as someone who has gone through this whole battle that involved the Supreme Court, the Congress, the executive branch, etc., through 3 administrations, Republican, Democrat 8 years, Republican 8 years before that, and now Republican. Actually, I haven't had any battles for the past 3-4 years. I'm sure that will come to an end sometimes because it's like kind of an aberration. It's been a battle, uphill battle for for a long time. And in fact, considering that what I found out, what I was trying to expose and make public, and I don't know how much I succeeded in doing this, had to do with the administration that was before George W. Bush, which would be Clinton administration. And I have gone through, dealt with 4 administrations through my case. Not as much this last one. I have kept my hands clean off. I'm like, I've been out of it for the past 3-4 years. I can do this as someone who can bring this experience, share it with you, and show it through what every single one of you can go and find on record. So it's not going to be my words, whether they are pretty words or ugly words, whether they are accusatory or they are complimentary. You can find every single thing I'm going to share with you today on the record. Once in a while, I'll pause and the ones I remember, because hey, I'm older, and we are dealing with 19 years. I may say, oh, you know what? You can go to this site or a blog site that is under this name to find this particular information. But some of them I have forgotten, but just search, because there are various search engines that you can find out. And then I'm going to let you decide, you the viewers, of the 2 sides, okay, which one has been the most Hippocratic, least commonsensical, most rabid, inflicted with rabies, most vicious, most cruel, most ignorant, and most biased. How about that? Let's do it together, because some of the figures I have exposed, they happen to have the big capital R in front of their names, whether they were within the executive branch or they were within elected officials in Congress, etc., or even judges. Some of them had a big chunky capital D in front of their names. Same thing, executive branch, courts, and the Congress. And some of my cases that became explosive, really even ended up being on the media platforms, etc., mainstream media, involve votes. And then I will illustrate to you which side is in what level when it comes to the degree of hypocrisy, viciousness, ignorance, lack of common sense, rabid, controlling, all those stuff, okay? I'm going to make you decide. Let me start, because I have to pull it from somewhere, right? I'm going to show you in examples. In 2005, 2006, I blew the whistle on and exposed the longest serving Speaker of the House in the United States Congress, Dennis Hastert, Republican, okay? Through the files and information investigations that I had been part of, I knew within the FBI that this congressman from Illinois, who happened to be the Speaker of the House, the 3rd most powerful person in the US government, because they are 3rd in line in presidencies, the president, vice president, and the Speaker of the House, if something happened to both of them, being the vice president and the president, being the Speaker of the House. I knew that this person was a foreign agent, as he was supposedly representing the Americans and his district in Illinois, the state of Illinois. I knew, and these are all documented witnesses, several FBI agents, etc. Not only that, I knew during the hooking process is when influences, whether they are foreign influences, whether they are internal corporation influences, when they want to co-opt and take under control a particular powerful politician, being an elected official in Congress or in courts or in the executive branch, one of the hooking methods they use happens to be sex, okay? And that would be let's say, not like Okay, in some cases it may be use of regular hookers, and they can tape this and they can blackmail this particular congressman, especially if he or she has been very outspoken as a family value, church-going, wonderful, wonderful person. They're like, you know what, we can make this public. We want you to do this, we want you to do that, we want you to screw Americans 500 different ways for the benefit of this particular country, or we want you to do this for this company. Okay. So you know it. I don't have to break it down all the way into details. Well, with Dennis Hastert, I know this is going to be legal liability, but hey, it's been out. In 2005, 2006, I put my neck on the line and I said, one of the ways they were hooking this guy and blackmailing him and having him screw the American people and their interests, treason, engage continuously in treasonous acts, was through offering him young boys, okay, under 18, maybe they are 14, 13. And I even gave the location exactly where in Chicago, which district it was happening, etc., etc. Now, at the time, one mainstream media outlet, lefty one, from the left, let's not say lefty, now they're going to say, oh, even the way you said left, it was like biased. The one from the Democrats' left side, okay, the liberal side, Vanity Fair, they published an article and they included this exposure. And they said Sibel Edmonds says that, and several agents confirmed that, etc., etc. This is the guy, Dennis Hastert, at this time, he is Speaker of the House, okay? Republican. Also churchgoer, also someone who always advocated for family value, conservative, blah, 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 all of that. I mean, that's a major thing, you would think, right? Anyhow, during this time, this period, I mean, explosive revelation, and back then so many forums were out there. Daily Kos was one of them. That was, again, from the left. Democratic Underground was another popular forum, and some of the names I forget, but they were popular flat platforms. There were no YouTubes, there were no Facebooks, Twitters. These were all pre-social media era. So throughout these forums, through my podcast programs, the interviews I gave to various alternative media outlets, I had people supporting and saying, this needs to be addressed, this is outrageous, and for me it was like Sibel Edmonds is courageous. I had both groups. I had many people from the left, including the extreme left, the radical left, supporting and offering awards for me. You know, I got a bunch of awards from this NGOs and that NGOs. Sibel, you're the greatest, you're the best. You're exposing this nasty, filthy, disgusting, Hippocratic Republicans, okay? That was their angle. I was exposing a treasonous, criminal person. Whether this person was a Republican or Democrat, it didn't matter to me. He happened to be the Speaker of the House, okay? He happened to be Republican, but the acts he was engaged in were filthy acts, both politically filthy, morally filthy, ethically filthy, all of that. It didn't matter for me. Facts are facts, right? Whether it hits this party or that party. But now, the alternative media outlets that invited me to go on and talk about this included both sides. Many ones from the liberals left, but many from the conservatives and libertarians. Be it Lou Rockwell's side, be it Washington Times, be it, oh my goodness, who were the ones back then? Because some of them disappeared. They were major at the time. On both sides. I had so many Republicans or people who consider themselves conservatives rallying in my support, in support of these exposés, okay? And of course, I had the loud and cheering the left. Are you with me so far? Okay. Now, fast forward 3 years. This is about 2009. I got to be deposed by a candidate in, where was it? Ohio? Krikorian? I'm sorry, I'm asking my camera person here. Krikorian, was he Ohio? Yes. he was a candidate. I forgot even if he was a candidate for the Republicans or the Democrats. I don't remember. He was running against another incumbent. Again, I don't remember if she was a Republican or Democrat, but my information was crucial for him because he wanted to expose the foreign money finding its way as bribery into the congressional representatives, including this woman who was his, he was challenging, okay? Well, the government, and this would be during the Barack Obama administration, so Krikorian deposed me. When he deposed me, Obama's Justice Department, this is the liberal left, this is after George W. Bush, Obama's Justice Department and the FBI, they threw a major public tantrum, okay? They said, heck no, she's not allowed to give you deposition under oath. Everything she knows, everything, whether it was through the FBI or not, is considered a state secrets privilege. We are placing a gag order. She can't testify. She cannot give you deposition. Well, you know me, or those of you who know me for the past 18 years, I don't take these types of things lightly. I said, I am going to testify. So I went to my attorneys. I challenged the government. It got to a point, I said, you know what? This is unconstitutional. What you guys are doing, this is Obama's Justice Department and Obama's FBI, because I had done similar things during George W. Bush's Justice Department and George W. Bush's FBI. I'm trying to also here let you know that it didn't make any difference. The gag order and classification and the police state practices and unconstitutional practices not only were identical between the two administrations, the Republican George W. Bush and the Democrat ultra-left Obama, Barack Obama, they were not different. And in fact, Obama administration threatened to jail me and any whistleblower who would do the things I was doing. They didn't do that. They didn't go that far, at least during George W. Bush. I'm not saying they were good. They were all crappy. But Obama was far worse. In fact, the left, extreme left, neoliberal, liberal Obama happened to be the only president, the first president in the entire history of this country to put government whistleblowers in jail, put them on trial and put them in jail. No president had ever done that before. Did you know that? If you say, wow, Sibel, I didn't know that, I would say, do you know why you didn't know about that? It's not your fault. It's because the left media during the 8 years of Barack Obama censored all this information. Now I want you to go and Google all the government whistleblowers Barack Obama, the extreme left liberal president, put on trial and jailed, and see what you get. Then go and find one Republican president or any other president who has jailed government truth tellers, okay? Are we settled at this part? Do you understand where I'm getting at? Because we're going to talk about hypocrisy. We're going to talk about all that. Okay. I'm going to go back to my story. I challenged Barack Obama's Justice Department and the FBI, and I went to this deposition, and you can listen to my entire deposition because there were a couple of alternative media people who got the recording, they saved it, and they publicized it, okay? Just put Sibel Edmonds' testimony under oath with government representatives there, the government FBI people, on Krikorian case, Krikorian, okay? And you're gonna see the 3 hours deposition I gave under oath, raising my right hand and saying I'm doing this under oath. So if I had said a single thing that was inaccurate, false, a lie, you bet your life that Barack Obama would have thrown my ass in jail. Okay, so I had to tell the truth, and obviously it was the truth because they didn't put me in jail because everything there was truth, nothing but the truth. Okay? During this deposition, based on some of the questions thrown at me from both sides, I had to, under oath, here was the question. They said, in addition to Dennis Hastert, were there other members of Congress, United States Congress, who were getting bribes from different countries, foreign countries, engaged in sexual acts and being blackmailed, etc. Well, I'm under oath. I have to tell the truth because otherwise Barack Obama would jail me, right? So I said, yes, I'm under oath. There were several. Can you name some of these congressional people? Well, there I was. This was a pretty tough position to be in because of the court orders, I'm under gag orders, and I can't explicitly say the names of certain FBI targets of investigations, the people I was listening to, and a lot of these people were elected officials or people in the executive branch, but I had to tell the truth and I wanted to make the truth public. I said, yes, there were others. Were there any Democrats? I said, of course, some of these people were Democrats. Oh, can you give like example, were they doing the same thing as Dennis Hastert, being pedophile, you know? These foreign people or other company people would bring them little boys, he would take them, they were boy hookers, that's what they refer to them, even though they were 14 or 15. In this case, you know, so he would have sex with them and anyhow. I don't want to get into those disgusting stuff right now because that's besides the point. I said, yes, for example, there was one very well-known congresswoman, long-serving congresswoman. Lo and behold, she happened to be from Illinois as well. And I don't know why it is. That's like the shithole place because the biggest corruptions of the sex, blackmail, foreign agent practices, money laundering by congressional representatives, etc., the vast majority, the worst ones, were the people in Chicago and people in Illinois. And I didn't make it happen. Those were in the files because there were people from other places. There were people from North Carolina. There were people from Michigan. But the worst cases were all from Illinois, okay? Anyhow, this Democratic congresswoman, I said she is married. She has been married. Her husband is a criminal. He has been actually jailed. I didn't say that during that. I said she's married. But this woman, this lady, this congresswoman, she's a closet lesbian. She's homosexual, okay? And I'm not saying it in a disparaging way. Listen to me now, people, listen. And these particular targets of investigation, criminal groups and foreign groups, they had obtained the videotapes of her having sex with the staffer they sent to her congressional office to work for her, and that staffer was a foreign woman too. So these two women are having sex, they recorded it, and I had become privy to how they were going to use this in various ways against this congresswoman. I'm not saying she was bad or good. She was having sex with another woman. She's married, she's Democrat, so you would think she shouldn't hide it because it's okay to have sex with the same sex and all the stuff for them and everything. But I don't know whether or not they used it for blackmail because I was kicked out of the FBI and they removed my access a month before I was gone. Ooh, baby. Do you know what happened the moment I said that? Listen, when I told the truth on Dennis Hastert, the Republican, I was the hero of the left, the beacon of freedom of speech, and the award-winning, magnificent government whistleblowers. Oh, dear Lord, do you know what happened the moment I said there was a congresswoman who happened to be Democrat and having sex with another woman and blah, 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 all that, and you can find my testimony, people, 2009, David Krikorian and Sibel Edmonds, 3 hours under oath. That moment, the liberals, the left, the neoliberals, the extreme left, they designated me as the worst, despicable, horrifying, disgusting, lying bitch on the planet. I'm sorry, bitch, I mean, is a female dog, so I'm not cussing here. But they didn't use it really that way. That's besides the point. Oh, the attacks. She's a liar. Well, I was not a liar when I was saying things under oath, etc. on Dennis Hastert. I'm saying this under oath. It happens to be a Democrat. I am a despicable liar. Glenn Greenwald, all of them, all these people, all the ones that you think from alternative media, okay? Even some of them who pose as not exactly lefty. They slammed me, they named me, I had podcast programs, and then they unsubscribed, and they said they would never give up. I mean, I can't describe the level of viciousness, hypocrisy, and attack, and the nastiest words I've ever heard in my life. You talk about cuss language, you talk about profanity. The left they are the kings and queens of it, okay? Because I've never heard, I have heard goddamn foreigner, and that was one, and I shared that with you. But, oh, you gotta look at these. I mean, you gotta go find the attacks, all the coverage by the left, denouncing me as the lying, well, everything in the world. Now, that's the difference. I want you to go find all of them because they are on the record, and I'm exposing the left here because I was asked to say, based on your case, and I'm saying based on my case, if I'm an objective person sitting in the middle here, nonpartisan, and I'll tell you, as far as both the administration and the public support and the media and the alternative media, have I observed vast differences between the libertarians and the rights and the conservatives and the lefts? And I'm telling you, and here I'll raise my right hand under oath with everything that is on record, that I have never been called those names ever by the right or the libertarians or the independents or the whatever conservatives. I have called the worst names. I have been attacked so viciously. I have been threatened by lawsuit. I can't describe to you the miserable journey it was facing the left, doing exactly the same thing, being a truthful whistleblower. So that's for that. And the hypocrisy of it. The hypocrisy of it is this. The right, a lot of people with common sense supported me during Dennis Hastert, even though Dennis Hastert was a Republican. And they interviewed me on their channels. And they were absolutely backing, supporting me for accountability in the case of Dennis Hastert. The left was there too. But in the second case, these despicable people, they showed their real faces together with their alternative, so-called alternative media and the mainstream media. So that's a major, big difference right there for you in real life example that you can find every single record of what I say there on the interviews. That's one. As far as presidents are concerned, George W. Bush versus Obama, we know which ones actually truly screwed whistleblowers royally. As far as taking them to courts and jailing them, putting them in dungeons, we know about that. Now, the third biggest thing that I want to tell you about has to do with, and in my previous video, I talked about why the major channels of influence, whether it's the media or publishing houses or the movie production companies, are all dominated by these criminal, authoritarian left, okay? Publishing houses, aren't they? We all know, and I would invite anyone who would come and say they are not part of the extreme left. All the top publishing houses in New York, and some of them are in Massachusetts. There's one in New Jersey. Then the movie production, documentary production companies, we know most of them, 99% of them are in California. And then there is some that they are being transplanted into Austin. They have now screwed up Austin. It's like Texas is being cleaned up. It's being invaded. Okay. My book, the book that I wrote and took a chance against the FBI and Justice Department, etc., I finished that book, Classified Woman, the entire journey of my whistleblowing and what I had gone through, described, okay? 350 plus pages. I wrote that book, Classified Woman. It was finished around 2010, 2011. Do you know which administration gagged me on that book? And they said, we will block it. You cannot publish this book. You cannot even publish the title. You cannot publish even the page number on this book. That's right. Let's say it all together. Barack Obama of the left during the Democratic administration. Now, I challenged Barack Obama's administration just the way I had done with George W. Bush administration because, hey, I'm nonpartisan. I finished writing this book. I went to court. I went through my attorneys. I challenged Barack Obama's administration. And in the end, even though I did not really win against Barack Obama's administration, I said, I am an American. I have this thing called the First Amendment and I'm going to exercise it. Let the Americans see how you put an author in jail for exercising her First Amendment right, writing a book. I will challenge you, okay? So I finished it and I went to the publishing houses. Oh my goodness, people. I went with one of the top-notch agents in New York City, total left, extreme left, but hey, she's like great at what she does, right? She's one of the most famous agents. So literary agents, not government, literary agents. So she took with me this book, manuscript, that I said I'm going to publish no matter what. I'm the one who's taking the chance. I went to these top publishing houses, not one, not two, not three, 5 or 6 or 7. Do you know what they said? They said this book will definitely be a bestseller. It's fantastic, but they said they would not publish it. Why? Number 1, they didn't want to challenge Barack Obama. Number 2, they didn't want to challenge the Justice Department and the FBI under Barack Obama. Number 3, it was because you, Sibel Edmonds, you are refusing to take the your allegiances to the Democratic Party and the extreme left. You have 2 chapters, your last 2 chapters deals with Barack Obama's administration, and we would actually take that risk of going against the FBI and the Justice Department if you be commonsensical enough to take those 2 chapters, just limit it to George W. Bush. Don't involve that woman, Congress, Democrat. Don't involve Barack Obama. Let's make your whole case about big, bad, despicable conservative right and Republican. Then we would take the chance, okay? And we would take the risk and we would publish your book. I said no. The agent said, you know what, Sibel, it's only 2 chapters. You have what, 18, 20 chapters. Take the 2 out. Instead, I will get you one of the top liberals. I don't know which one, she said. One of the big name writers on the left to write a nice, the epilogue instead of those whatever 20 pages you're going to take out on Obama, and then the left will worship you. You will be their heroes. Plus, you can get $500,000, $1 million from your book. I said, no, I have stuck with integrity and honesty and truthfulness. I'm not going to bend it now. I haven't bent it for 10 years, despite the fact that my life was royally screwed by all the stuff I had to suffer through. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Well, Sibel, there are no independent right-wing, libertarian, independent publishers. You either have to really raise your right hand and say, I, Sibel Edmonds, I promise I use this book and everything in it against the independents, libertarians, Republicans, conservatives, etc. Again, I, Sibel Edmonds, I make sure I limit all my criticism to one party, Republicans, conservatives, okay? I, Sibel Edmonds, I take back what I said about this congresswoman, by the way, her name is Jan Schmitz, was it? No, Tchaikovsky, Janice Tchaikovsky. So anyhow, you say all this stuff and we will publish and you get $500,000 or it was $720,000 plus there would be an offer that came with it, and that was a Hollywood major production company. Just the initial sign up for my book to be turned into a film movie was, I don't know, $300,000, $250,000, I don't remember. This is like 8 years ago. I have it, I have the proposal. I kept those because those are all on the record. I didn't. I never had people on the right or the libertarians or the independents putting that kind of despicable authoritarian pressure on me. They asked me, this person representing them asked me, and I said, okay, I told you not to mess with me, because I have everything documented. The internet has everything documented. You press and you call me names. You say, I'm picking on you. I'm not picking on you. I'm saying it based on everything being facts, whether on the track records of Obama administration, based on what you did to me, but that's what they did to me. They refused to publish my books. They censored my book. They said, we will never ever publish this book, even though we know it's going to be a bestseller. I self-published it. I hired my own editor. I hired my own proofreaders. I spent my own money, and I published it through Amazon. And yes, I made it a bestseller. Without them, without having to sell my soul, my integrity, my honesty, I did all that. But only because they control those authoritarian, Hippocratic, censorship-loving left with their publishing houses, with their production companies in Hollywood, whether it's a documentary, whether it's the film rights, they are dominating the entire landscape. And as I said it during my previous episode, why nobody is challenging? There are a lot of people there. Together, they would have as much money as their one or two evil leaders, Soros, Gates, etc. have money. We have thousands of business people. Each one can throw in there like a, I don't know, $100,000, $200,000. And yes, we can have our own mainstream media, powerful, big, sophisticated one, established for TV. Yes, we can have one, have us, at least let us have one publishing house that is not in this censorship, suffocating authoritarianism on the left. I don't know why it's not being done. It is not being really stopped. All it takes is money. They are putting their money to co-opt our lives, engage in censorship against truth tellers, whistleblowers, etc. We need to do the same to be able to tell the truth and support the government whistleblowers and clean up some of the cesspool that we have in Congress and elsewhere. With that track record, you know, especially some of you who may be under still this lockdown, take the time, go research. Go research my cases. Sibel Edmonds, my book, how it got to be published, the difference between exposing a Republican pedophile congressman versus a congresswoman who was a Democrat. Look at all this stuff. Look on the record. See which side is truly anti-government whistleblower, which side truly is a hypocrite, which side is in censorship, okay? In my experience, and that is an 18-year plus experience, it has been 99% of the time, if not more, the other side. Now, my next episodes, and probably the one after that, if we don't get enough support through Patreon for these open videos, will be at Newsbud, available to my Newsbud community and to my Patreon community. All these videos that are open to all, you have been watching, tuning into, these videos have been made possible by you. Those of you, you know, who are putting your support into action, putting your activism of furthering truth, unbiased truth, not based on right and left biases, but objective truth through your support. So please take the time, if you can, if you wish, if you find these series useful, of value, go to my Patreon site. I provide the link. It will be in the description box here. It takes 10 seconds. You can commit to 50 cents, $1, $5, whatever it is you can to support the production of this discussion series. And I'm thankful to every single of my Newsbud and Patreon communities for their support, making these videos possible. Thank you all, and see you soon. This is Sibel Edmonds from Florida currently. Have a good day, and let's do it all together.